Some trips to the woods, if not most, are therapy. There's something healing about a can of soup and steaks on an open fire. It's just what the soul needs after the lights and production of the holidays. My brother Gabe and I set out to find that quiet whisper you can only hear in the waterfall, the wind, the coffee drip. It's where I find my center. It was a cool, damp afternoon. A gentle morning rain helped the dust to settle in. My brother and I made our way to the hills to a familiar spot. This trip wasn't about the wheeling. There was nothing particularly dangerous or thumbnail-worthy that happened. I'm not going to try and conjure up some sort of fictitious drama to bump my viewership. This brief weekend getaway was about something deeper. We were searching for something internal. Balance. The center. It's an esoteric concept, but worth exploration. Being centered means we are anchored in both our spiritual and mental selves, our logical and emotional aspects, physical reality, and the ethereal. Finding balance between these seemingly disparate parts of ourselves is important. For example, if we fixate solely on our thoughts and external experiences, we become overly engrossed in our stories and take everything too seriously. On the other hand, if we meditate excessively, we become detached and can lose touch with the physical world and our responsibilities. Our days are so connected and informed due to the internet, local, national news, celebrity culture, all of it. And coming out here is a sort of pendulum swing for me. It's the opposite extreme. My center isn't found out here, but these creeks, these hills, they offset the noise. Like clockwork, when we arrive at camp, I go into a sort of trance. Maybe you can relate to this, but the setup process is something that I've done so many times, I don't really have to think about it anymore. Muscle memory kicks in. Each item has a place. Each task has a purpose. This process, it scratches an itch in my brain. Well, first I want to say Happy New Year. 2025 is going to be one to remember. I'm stoked to be out here camping, bringing you guys along. I'm here with my brother Gabe. He got this new Jeep and asked to take it out, kind of test it out. It's doing absolutely great. This is one of those spots that is not hard to get to in the Ozarks, but it's not usually taken. And I absolutely love it. We got some rain, which means the water is flowing good. Sometimes this can be a bit dry. I've done a couple different videos in this area. I'll put a link up here to one that we've done here before. It's just a really cool spot, super beautiful. And if you want access to the spot, you can check it out on Onyx. They are one of my channel sponsors. They actually signed on for all of 2025. So shout out to Onyx. I'm super stoked to be working with you guys. And beautiful spot, want access to that, click join here on YouTube, become a member, and you'll get all that data. One thing I did want to tell you guys about real quick, I just started working with a company. Now, this is not through my YouTube channel. This is through my advertising agency, Starshine Media. But you guys may have heard of these guys. They're at a lot of the expos that we've been to, and they're called All Roads Taken. So they make little adventure badges that are a good way to commemorate places that you have visited. And a lot of people like to stick these on their rigs. Some people like to put them on their fridges. Some people, use them as Christmas ornaments. I mean, there's all sorts of different things, but the most common purpose is to stick them on the rig. They are a relatively new company, but there is a ton of opportunity for growth. So they're pretty well known amongst the Jeep guys, but the Toyota guys, you don't see a lot of this type of thing on them. The van lifers, it's starting to pick up, but you don't see a lot. So it's just a huge opportunity for a company like this to really jump into a bunch of different markets. And so I reached out to them a while back saying, hey, I think there's some cool opportunity here. And we signed on for all of 2025. I'm going to be helping them with their marketing. And so part of the reason we came out here for this trip was to get content, marketing content that they can use on social media and their website and at their expos and stuff. And so that's not what this video is about, but I did want to tell you about them because they're an amazing company, and I'm going to put a link to their website down in the description below. And they've got a lot of cool ideas, some cool stuff coming in the pipe, and definitely one that you want to keep on your radar. This is my little brother, my little tiny baby brother, Gabriel, and he brought his sword. You want to show him your sword?
Yeah. To get a nice long look of my sword. I just carry it around wherever I go. Where I go, it goes.
This was his Christmas gift from our other brother, Isaac. And actually, I'm going to cut to a clip real quick to show you guys the epic presentation that he got with this. It's pretty sweet.
That's a legit
I've never come out here with Gabe before. Actually, we hadn't really ever camped remotely at all like this.
No, not like this.
So this is the first time. He's got a Jeep. Should have been a Toyota, but he chose to get a Jeep, which we'll forgive him for that. But yeah, we wanted to get out here and test it. He's been sleeping at my house for the last 2 nights.
Yeah, like a homeless person.
Yeah, and then last night he texted at 1 a.m. saying he was puking.
I was puking, but I was like, I'm not letting anything stop this camping trip.
So we're here. I mean, if you got to puke and have diarrhea at home, you might as well puke and have diarrhea.
Well, let me give some information. Really what happened is we watched Gladiator 2.
Yes.
And we watched Gladiator 2 and we had...
Strength and Honor.
Strength and Honor. And we had way too much brisket and then turned around and then I was like, the only natural thing to do after Gladiator 2 with your brother is to go into the woods with your brother and take your sword.
Strength and Honor.
Strength and Honor.
Yeah, Gladiator 2, brisket, swords, and the woods. This video is full of testosterone.
Way too much.
Way too much. So we're gonna go make some meat now.
Yeah, that's the next step.
I was already driving cars when Gabe was born. A decade and a half stand between the two of us, so when I say little brother, I mean it. He may be a grown man now and the head football coach at Central Junior High, but to me, he'll always be a short, sweaty, fat 8-year-old little boy. We kept dinner simple. Canned chicken noodle soup next to a fire is about as basic as it gets. Dinner packaged in the cooking pot and serving bowl. That's what I'm talking about. Throw in a couple of ribeyes and some cast iron, you feel pretty much like a king. Just because it's easy doesn't mean it's bad. Now listen, I've got the propane, the GSI stove, a jet boil setup, all the usual suspects, but to this day, my absolute favorite way to cook dinner is on an open fire. There's something raw and primal about it. The edges tend to burn a bit, the soup is a tad ashy. That just adds to the charm of it all. I swear, the smell alone is good enough to fill a grown man's belly. Men are simple creatures. Open spaces, campfires, a meal with the brother, there aren't many problems those things can't fix. I'm no professional. I'm just saying, the most effective medication and counseling I've tried didn't cost me a dime.
I think it tastes better when you eat it with your bare hands.
It absolutely does. Even if it's a little overdone, when you cook it in a pan on a campfire.
Next to your brother. 36 hours ago, I was puking my guts out.
This is not what they recommend you eating after you.
No, 100%.
Like, we could have pulled out a stove and cooked a more technically perfect steak, but sometimes
the vibe is worth it. Just doing it over the fire, you get that smoky.
Salt, pepper, meat, fire, happiness,
That's all you need.
strength, honor.
Strength and honor.
When the food is all gone, the conversation runs dry. In my family, guitars and banjos typically come out. It's like a factory reset for the soul as you serenade the stars.
Good morning. The sun is just starting to come up behind me. And man, sleeping by running water, moving water, that white noise, just some of the best sleep that you'll ever get. So the plan for today is pretty straightforward. We are going to stage some photos of these all roads taken badges. And I think what I want to do is I really like this creek, and there's some rocks that are coming up out of it. I think what I want to do is set up some of these badges on those rocks and get some really cool product photos. But I am going to make some coffee first.
I absolutely love supporting local mom and pop shops in the space. But to be completely transparent, sometimes these small neighborhood shops have a crummy product. It can be difficult to know how to show support to them while still being honest with you guys, the viewer. But every now and then you strike gold and find that perfect blend where startup meets quality. And that's the case for this Arky Outdoors Coffee and Mamoo's Camp Kitchen meals. This morning we tried the Campfire Blend, a smoky, rich brew with subtle citrus notes. We paired it with the breakfast scramble from Mamoo's, which was full of smoked sausage, egg, hash browns, so much good stuff.
It's crazy that like people in World War II would like eat something like this and then go kill Nazis. That was like a regular Tuesday.
Wake up, drink some black coffee,
Yeah,
kill some Nazis,
yeah. Knock the dirt off your boots,
strength and honor.
strengthen on it, and then like they would go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like they would lay down and go to bed, and they wouldn't think. They would. They were like, same time tomorrow.
Same day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Himalayas.
Make some snow cones next. Nobody on your channel is gonna understand that.
Nobody.
Nobody. There might be one 9-year-old that's surfaced on here.
That's awesome, dude. That is awesome, bro.
Got some kick.
So awesome, dude. It's so awesome.
After breakfast, I spent a few hours getting content for All Roads Taken, and then we packed up the gear. It's funny how a trip like this can really recharge the batteries. It doesn't take much to reset that internal balance. My buddy Will once said the wild is a home of a different kind. I like that. It's familiar, comforting, rejuvenating, but for most of us, it's not a true home. It's a momentary escape, a place to clear your mind, find that all too elusive center. And the truth about overlanding in particular that a lot of brands and influencers don't want you to know is that this doesn't cost much. Sure, you can build a $100,000 rig if you want to, but you could also take a stock Cherokee like Gabe. Heck, I've seen Civics out here. The entry price point is as low as a tank of gas and a ham sandwich. So, my advice, spend as little money as you possibly can when you start. You can always add to your build over time. Roosevelt set up the National Forest and Park so that the common man would be able to enjoy the land. So don't overcomplicate it. Just get out and enjoy.
Okay, first trip
doing the whole overland thing with me. What were kind of your first impressions of this style of camping?
Well, I didn't know, for one, that my rig could even handle something like this.
It did great.
Half the buttons on that, I didn't even know what they did.
Yeah.
So it's good to actually know what your vehicle is capable of. But 10 out of 10 experience. I want to do it again. Like same time tomorrow, right?
Yeah, let's just go. Let's just not go back home.
We'll just
live out here now.
We'll just forget your wife and kids, and I'll forget my job, and we'll just be out here.
Like a few years from now, people will come into the woods and just see guys with these long beards.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
like way too long.
Yes, right. Mm-hmm. That sounds awesome.
And we like scurry on all fours.
Yes, right.
Up
we
trees.
Become animals.
Yeah, we become an animal.
I love it. I love it. What was like best part of the trip, would you say? Like the most memorable thing for you?
Yeah, well, it's just what we talked about last night. And my job as a teacher and coach, I'm surrounded by people by necessity. Like it's not really my choice.
Yeah.
And it's really fulfilling work. But it felt so good to have proximity with a brother,
mm-hmm.
and like no cell reception, no choice.
Yep.
And to be out here and to be like, yeah, I'm gonna, invest in hanging out with you and talking and catching up, and you're kind of forced to do it out here, and it's good for you.
Yeah.
And it's really good for me. I needed it.
There's something about just communicating with people that are within arm's reach. We're such a connected, like society now. We constantly are checking out with Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and all that stuff's fine. But I think it's really nice to occasionally unplug from that and be like, this is all I have to communicate with.
Yeah,
like,
it's either you or the rocks.
right. I think that's really cool. It just kind of forces you to hone in and really be present, focus on the moment. So that's cool that you said that. I totally resonate with that.
And there's something just magical about having nothing but steak for dinner.
Oh, dude.
Dude, you can't beat that.
Really, so I've done the whole bougie cooking thing with the stoves, and you make pasta and you do all the seasonings and the sauce from scratch and all that stuff. But there's something about buying
a ribeye,
piece of meat.
Give me that ribeye, dude.
And throwing it on a fire.
Yes.
And that's it. That's it. You get some cans of soup, and the cans are your cooking vessel because they go in the fire, heat the soup up. They are your bowl. It's just something like we are simple creatures.
Simple men. We are men.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor. We had to slip it in there.
We had to get it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll do it again. I appreciate you guys watching this. And if you want the route and the campsite that we stayed at last night, you can have access to all that by becoming a member. Hit the join button here on YouTube. And I do standard GPX files, Onyx, and Gaia. So whatever platform you use, got you covered. And shout out to our members. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. I'll throw your names up over here. And also the sponsors. Thank you guys so much for helping us make this content. I couldn't do it without you guys. But more important than all of that, remember, the more you camp, the less deer the aliens abduct. Strength and honor.